What is the president's reaction when he hears protesters in China chant freedom or Xi Jinping step down?
The president's not going to speak for protesters around the world. They're speaking for themselves. What we are doing is making it clear that we support the right of peaceful protest.
The White House responding to mass protests in China against the government's zero-COVID policy. President Xi relaxed some of the lockdowns this week, a move with massive implications for his regime, the course of the pandemic, and the health of the global economy. Bob Woodruff is tracking the developments from Hong Kong. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good morning, George. You know, we have not seen such large public anti-government set of demonstrations here really since the Tiananmen Square uprising in 1989, 33 years ago. This time, the anger is pointed to President Xi Jinping for his strict COVID policies, which have saved lives, but at the cost of the economy and personal freedoms.
Frustration is hitting a boiling point for many Chinese citizens this week. Thousands pouring onto the streets from Beijing to Shanghai to Guangzhou. The anger fueled by resentment over the government's zero-COVID policy. While most of the world's countries, including the U.S., have turned to living with the virus, China has not. It is still imposing extreme lockdowns, constant testing, and nationwide surveillance. Though strict lockdown measures have helped mitigate the spread of COVID-19, they come at an enormous economic cost. China is key to global supply chains. Apple now reportedly looking to shift some of its production outside the country after protests at a factory in Zhengzhou. Adding to the challenges President Xi Jinping faces, this week the country's former president, Jiang Zemin, died. He led China in the aftermath of the Tiananmen Square crackdown, mending ties with the West and overseeing the country's economic boom of the 90s. Jiang Zemin spoke English, smiled with U.S. presidents, and sometimes sang. In Hong Kong, Chinese citizens lined up to pay honor to President Jiang.
There are some concerns with the police that they might use this kind of crowd to turn it into a protest. You can see there are police officers up over there. There's gathering along the edge of the road. They don't want some kind of uprising.
Attempting to diffuse national unrest, some cities have begun easing COVID restrictions, but President Xi has largely remained quiet. And China's top COVID official has softened her tone, but she has not admitted it's because of unrest, instead saying it's because the Omicron variant is less deadly.
Now, it is unclear how much will change in China, but even the current easing demonstrates the extraordinary pressure that the government is feeling because of the protests. Another major challenge for the country's COVID policy, President Xi has refused to allow the world's most effective mRNA vaccines like Pfizer and others to be used on his citizens simply because they were not invented and made in China.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.